My soon-to-be ex-wife and I are both 26, and we have a 5-year-old son and a 10-month-old daughter together. I work as a manager at an IT company, while she works as a receptionist at a hospital, though she's been on maternity leave for a while. I'm outgoing, whereas she is quite introverted and enjoys spending time with close family and childhood friends. On Saturday, July 1, 2023, a former employee of mine, a 23-year-old, came to our house to return some important documents I had left at his place the previous day. He assumed I would be home because I don't work on Saturdays. My wife, not knowing who he was, let him in after he explained himself and offered him coffee while he waited for me. At the time, I was at my parents' house, 5 miles away. This is what happened next, as the former employee recounted to me over the phone 2 days ago. Employee: do you know about me and your wife? Me: what do you mean? Explain. Employee: remember that day last month when you weren't home, and I came to drop off documents? I'm sorry because I should have called you beforehand. Me: yes, so what? Employee: after your wife invited me in and offered to make coffee, we started talking and quickly bonded over literature. She was very friendly, and although I know it was wrong, we started kissing. Your son came into the living room at that moment and asked who I was. She told him not to worry and to go watch TV. Then we went upstairs and, slept together. Me: are you joking? Because if you're just trying to cause trouble, don't. Employee: no, it's not a lie. I just thought I should tell you because your son saw his mother with someone else. Years down the line, if you ever found out, I didn't want you to think I scared a little boy without caring. Remember, your wife is the married one, not me. I didn't force her. Me: I don't believe you at all. Employee: that's why I resigned, on July 7th, because I didn't know whether you knew or not and would rather resign than have a sacking on my record. Me: I'll ask her, and if it's true, I'll deal with you appropriately. Employee: okay, but like I said, I didn't force her nor did I do anything illegal. You won't hear from me again. Sorry. I was livid with anger and hurt. This was an employee who had only started working for me in May, and I was certain she didn't know he existed until that day. I confronted her, and she denied it at first but then admitted to what happened when she realized the severity of the situation, including the employee quitting. She said she was very sorry and didn't know what came over her. I then said, apparently, our son saw you, and she began crying. I told her I was going to stay with my parents for a few days while I decided what to do. My parents and even her family are very supportive of me and do not condone what she did. I've seen my son and baby daughter on FaceTime and told them I would be with them soon. I've decided there is no coming back from this and will definitely get a divorce. The only issue is custody and finances. I don't want to end up like many men who get a divorce due to their wife's fault, only to lose the house and only see the kids on weekends. How do I ensure I don't lose the house and get to see my kids as much, if not more, than her? I live in England, by the way. Story 2. I think my wife is cheating on me with my coworker, and I don't know what to do. I don't usually use platforms like this, but I need to vent and let this out. I'm a 33-year-old man, and my wife is 30. We've been together for 11 years, and I thought everything was good between us until recently. For context, I work as a dispatcher for truckers. It's a good job with benefits, and I make enough for us to be comfortable. My wife used to work building gaming computers, but she lost her job due to cutbacks, so I've been the sole earner, picking up extra hours. One day, my car battery died, so my wife drove me to work. When we arrived at the parking lot, I saw my coworker, Andrew. I waved at him, and he walked over. I introduced him to my wife, who got out of the car to shake his hand. Andrew said, "You never told me your wife was so beautiful." She blushed, and I laughed it off, saying I'm lucky to have her. Then, Andrew and I walked into work after I kissed my wife goodbye. A few days later, I got my car running again and returned to work as usual. During lunch, I noticed my wife's car in the parking lot. I walked over and saw her and Andrew talking and eating lunch in her car. I was upset but kept my cool and knocked on the window. She opened the door and said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you that Andrew and I were having lunch today together." Andrew said, "I hope you're not angry." I took a deep breath and said, "No," then walked away because I didn't want to start an argument. Later that day, when I got home, my wife was very upset, saying I embarrassed her in front of Andrew. I asked, "Why do you even care?" When did you start hanging out with him? She replied, I'm an adult, and I don't have to tell you everything, and then walked off. Since then, she has been distant, and I've noticed she's been on her phone more, calling and texting her friends, but I suspect it's Andrew. I don't want to accuse her and be wrong, but I feel I need to say something. Update: I didn't expect this to blow up, but thank you all for the advice and support. I talked to a friend who gave me an Apple AirTag. I'm going to put it in my wife's car to see if I can find anything and collect evidence, so I don't get unfairly treated in court if we end up divorcing. A part of me doesn't want to do this because I'm not sure if I can handle the truth. We've been through so much together, and it's hard to believe she would throw it all away. But I need to know the truth. I'll update again when I can. Hey everyone, I know it's been a while since I posted, but a lot has happened. First off, thank you for the support and advice. Quick recap: my wife has been hanging out with my coworker Andrew without telling me, and when I found out, she became distant. I suspected she was cheating. My friend gave me an AirTag, and I hid it in my wife's car to follow her. She said she was going to see a friend, but I didn't believe her, so I followed her in my friend's car to make sure she couldn't spot me. After a 20-minute drive, she pulled up to a hotel. My heart sank. I hoped I was wrong, but then I saw Andrew waving at her. She ran to him, and they kissed. I felt hurt and angry, but I took pictures and drove off when they walked into the hotel. At home, I was overwhelmed with emotions. I called my friend, who came over, and I showed him the pictures. He hugged me and told me to get a lawyer and keep collecting evidence. During the past few weeks, I've been doing just that. I've seen them go to restaurants, movies, and hotels. Each time it hurt, but I toughed it out. She always told me she was going out with friends or family, but I never confronted her. Yesterday was my birthday, and I wasn't really feeling it. My wife didn't even wish me a happy birthday, but her parents did. At work, my coworkers got me a cake and some gifts. For a moment, I forgot about everything until I saw Andrew. He gave me a gift, a comic book, Batman, Death of the Family. I was surprised because no one at work knew I was into comics, and DC was my favorite. When I told Andrew that, he said my wife told him. All I saw was red. Next thing I knew, my coworkers were holding me back, and Andrew was in the corner, covering his nose. I shouted, I know you've been seeing my wife. Everyone went silent. Andrew tried to explain, but I didn't care. My boss came in, sent Andrew home, and took me to his office. I told him everything and showed him some pictures. He apologized and gave me time off to sort things out. He said he would deal with Andrew. When I got home, my wife was waiting and very upset. She said I was wrong for confronting Andrew and that she talked him out of pressing charges. She said, Andrew makes me feel special, and I finally snapped and said, I don't care. If he makes you feel special, go live with him because I'm done. She cried and apologized, saying Andrew caught her at a moment of weakness, but I told her to get a lawyer because we were getting a divorce. She said she couldn't afford one and that we needed to work on our relationship. I told her to pack up, and she cried and begged, but I called her sister to pick her up. She locked herself in the bathroom, saying she wouldn't come out until I was willing to work things out. I told her I didn't want to work anything out and needed space because seeing her made me angry and hurt. She finally came out, apologized again, packed her things, and waited outside for her sister. Now I'm alone in the house, and I can't stop crying. I feel so many emotions and don't know what to do. I'm going to see my lawyer tomorrow. I'm planning on seeing a therapist soon. I'll update everyone once this blows over. Thank you all again for the advice and support.